Lauren Sisler here with AL.com. Catching up with Josh Bynes, former linebacker at Auburn, playing the 2007 to 2010 team. And of course, getting to relive the glory days back when he played at Auburn, and of course the 2010 national championship season. And so we're going to get into a little bit of that conversation. But first and foremost, Josh, thank you for joining us. How's life been, man? How have you been? What have you been up to?
Life has been great. Just been with the kids and been with the family, and definitely, been cooking a lot since we have nothing else to do during quarantine. So it's definitely been a good quarantine for us. As we made a lot of food, and that's one of our passions in this family is making a bunch of good cuisine. And the kids have been running around like crazy. And but it's been fun though. It's been a good quarantine for us so far.
So Josh, obviously, you get to be home. So we'll pop up a couple pictures. I know Patrick has as our producer for us. Your wife, Brianna, obviously an Auburn volleyball player, and then of course you've got three boys who I had the honor of meeting yesterday as we're working on a documentary for the 2010 Auburn National Championship season. The three boys, your newest, your newborn there, 4 months old. It's Jordy, right?
Yes, it's Jordy.
You got Jordy, all J's, right? So you got Jordy, you got Jace, which is the middle one, and then you got Joshua, which is the oldest there to your left. Obviously, extremely adorable. And then Brianna, of course, she gets left out because she doesn't have a J name. But the beautiful Brianna, certainly, made her name at Auburn as well, and obviously got to be there alongside you during your championship playing day. So certainly. Appreciate that. So what are some things you've been cooking up? You talk about the cuisine. Like, what's your favorite dish if you're going to cook up something fun?
My favorite dish. I don't necessarily have a favorite dish. It's kind of like what we just want to come up for the week. Like we just try to make like a little menu for the week. And I'm like, okay, sometimes I make a homemade pasta, or like I've been making desserts a lot. So I made like strawberry cakes. I've made a coconut cake. I've made a lemon blueberry cake. I've been making a bunch of different things just this whole quarantine, because you have nothing much to do, and I'd never been like in baking. So I was like, I'm starting to look at recipes and just start trying to make stuff. And of course, they turned out pretty decent, and well, actually, some of them turned out pretty good. And for some, we saved and like, are we gonna make it again? So I think it's been fun, and getting the kids involved in the kitchen as well has been great.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah. Well, we're going to call you Chef Bynes. I love it. Next time I'm going to tell you to cook me up a dessert. You speak my love language. So for Auburn fans out there, you've had quite a career. Obviously, you played at Auburn, as we said, from 2007 to 2010. You're a Fort Lauderdale boy that made his way to Auburn, obviously had a tremendous career at Auburn. And then you went undrafted in the 2011 NFL draft, but signed with the Baltimore Ravens and have since played for, the Ravens, the Lions, the Cardinals. You're back with the Ravens, and now you're hanging with the Bengals. How much fun has it been for you to play in the NFL and see your NFL career soar?
Yeah, it's been great. It's had a lot of ups and downs, but it's just amazing to be in the league this long and to play as long as I have. It's been a journey for sure. And it's come with its bumps and bruises, but each and every year still prove myself that I can still play in this league is definitely one of the things I look forward to. And I look forward to another challenge this year, especially, we have a lot of young linebackers as well, and a team that's just hungry to do so much better than we did last year. And I'm just trying to continue to prove that I can play even now, still like I play another year. And then we'll talk about that and another year. But I just want to continue playing as long as my body feels great and I feel amazing. I go out there and just play at a high level. That's all I, care about each and every day, each and every time I get there and step on that field. And it's been wonderful, and been happy that my kids are along the way with me, and my wife as well, of course.
Of course. Now it's funny because yesterday when we were hanging out, we were texting back and forth with Ted Roof, your former defensive coordinator at Auburn when you played there. And he said, "Tell the old man I said hello." But hey, contrary to that, I know that you had some comments about that. There is nothing old about you. First of all, I've got you by like 5 years because I remember you telling me you were 30. But second of all, I say more power to you. I mean, you have not missed a beat it is just impressive to me, because I do think that a lot of times, we always kind of assume there's this shelf life for, athletes, but you've certainly kind of overcome that. What would you point to that has helped drive you to continue to be able to have success at the top level of football?
I think for me, it's been an adjustment with my body throughout this whole 9 going to 10 years now. Early on, even in college, I was so big, a thick guy and everything. I thought that was the thing. You had to be big and, to be able to play this game. And then it came to a realization over maybe my first couple of years was like, all right, maybe guys aren't as big, necessarily need to be like that anymore. So slowly but surely, I started to change my diet, get a little bit leaner, and just trying to keep up with this, how fast this league is going. And just attribute to that, just is trying to recognizing that this league is changing. I need to change my body, change my diet, and start losing weight, getting from that 245, 250 pound guy to like now I'm like around 230 or 235 or less, pretty much. That's just where I'm at. And I love that weight and I feel great. Like I don't eat all crazy. I do make a lot of good things. But
I was about to say.
But it's portion control for sure.
Yep.
I like me a little dessert every once in a while. There's nothing wrong with that. But other than that, I just try to make sure during the week, Monday through Friday, I'm just taking care of myself and make sure I'm eating properly, eating the right things and recovering in the right way. So then when I go in season, it's not like a total shock to my body. So I still hydrate the same in the off season as I am during the season. I have a crap ton of boxes of water sitting in the living room just because I still drink just as much as I need to be hydrated for the season. So it just follows me all throughout the year because I've done it from January all the way through to the end of the season. I'm trying to keep that same routine as far as I'm still preparing my body to play a game and recover from a game as well.
That's smart. And obviously with the unknowns of knowing when you're going to return to camp and obviously get back on the football field, being prepared now just the same as you would if it was game day is certainly a great thing. Now, you talk about the opportunity you get with the Cincinnati Bengals and the excitement of sort of the team and what, talent will be coming in. One of those, the number 1 draft pick in Joe Burrow, LSU quarterback, national championship win. And, of course, as an Auburn guy, I know that you keep tabs on your fellow SEC mates over there. And, what do you know about Josh Burrow and the excitement? I said Josh Burrow. Look at me. What do you know about Joe Burrow and the excitement of bringing him in and obviously having him a quarterback? Because as of right now, your coach, Zach Taylor, is saying he will be the first to take snaps when camp does start.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. We can't wait to see him bring that championship caliber DNA right to Cincinnati, because we know for a fact we're definitely capable of turning this thing around this year. And it's going to start with the quarterback position, and that's just what it is in the NFL. You got to have a quarterback to be able to turn his offense around and turn it from, like we talked about yesterday, from good to great. And I think Joe is the perfect quarterback for us. And I just can't wait to finally see him take that snap. And maybe I might pick his interception off in practice just to give him a little taste, the NFL, and just be give him a little war eagle at the same time, but then be all right, that's just practice, you know what I mean? And then give him, just everything he can so he can be ready come game day. And I'm just excited. I can't wait till we finally, get back together or whenever that happens, hopefully at the end of July or wherever, we see fit in the next month and a half.
All right, Joe Burrow, you heard it. You better watch out. Josh is coming from you in practice. Speaking of the War Eagles, you have a couple teammates that you'll be sharing the field with this year. You obviously didn't get to play with them at Auburn. I know you mentioned, they were way after your time, but come on, like not way after your time, but Carl Lawson and CJ Uzomah, 2 guys. Uzoma's been on the team there. Obviously, I remember covering him several years ago, and then of course Carl Lawson more recently. But how excited are you to have some guys that you can kind of share that same Auburn family blood with?
Oh, it'd be great because I probably had in Baltimore that I don't know, for some reason they just never could get an Auburn guy. I don't know what's going on in Baltimore with that, but it's okay. At least I was there. And then we had Gerard Powers there for a little bit, my guy. And then in Detroit I think just Gabe Wright, I think was the only Auburn guy. So it'd be good to have some younger guys and some Auburn teammates, talk a little smack with some guys and tell them what it's really like playing for Auburn and stuff like that. And Carl, we obviously on the same side of the ball. I talked to Carl plenty of times already, and it's just been great and just super excited just to be around the guys and just, and it's just crazy because I'm looked at as that older guy, you know what I mean? Because, I'm 10 years in now and they're 4, Carl, this might be his 4th year, you know what I mean? So it's kind of, I'm on a different spectrum of them, but, I got a little bit of something to, give a little, with them and joke about it and stuff.
Hey, look, wise in your years and obviously a veteran at your position, obviously a veteran on the football field and a veteran in life, and just hearing about your story, I loved catching up with you yesterday and just hearing about how things have transpired for you, and certainly very, encouraging and optimistic all around. So one thing you talk about when you were on the Ravens, not getting to share the field with necessarily your Auburn brotherhood, but someone you got to chirp at a little bit. And we talked about it. Mark Ingram, you guys used to get into it quite a bit. How much is that Iron Bowl rivalry, I guess, present when you're sharing a locker room with somebody like Mark Ingram?
See, it's always present especially in Baltimore, when you have a bunch of Alabama guys. I mean, it'll probably about 6, 7, 8 of them on the team. I'm the only Auburn guy. So of course, it was giving me crap. And then, of course, I got to deal with Ozzy. Ozzy's a Bama guy as well. So, of course, I get all the slack from them all the time. So, it's just, it's always comical and it's always a good thing to joke about. But me and Mark, definitely, we had our tussles back in 2009, when it came to Auburn. So, of course, we had to talk about that a little bit. Just, talk about that a little bit. He's my guy, though. I love him. And it's going to bring him back, I guess, another rival because, I'm in Cincinnati now, so get to play them twice a year. So I'll get the chance to see them 2 times this year and just in a different uniform.
No doubt. And I guess with Mark Ingram or any of those guys, do you ever have any funny stories or anything that kind of transpired, or maybe a bet that you won or lost during your playing days?
One bet, because I don't usually do this. I do not like Georgia or Bama. But one of my guys, Donnell Ellerby, my second year, I believe, in the league, and we was doing good, and all of a sudden played. I think we were doing good. I can't remember. Were we? Yeah, I think we were. And then we played Georgia, and of course, I bet. I was like, all right, if we win, you gonna wear some Auburn gear that night. It was like, oh, if we wearing the Georgia gear, whatnot. Of course, I'm like, oh, we're gonna kick their butt. And I end up having to wear a Georgia hat. I think I had a Georgia hoodie. Oh,
ooh!
I was like, we're not getting no pictures of this. But he did get one. He sent it to me. It's like it was in the cafeteria.
Oh my gosh!
I don't think he posted it, but that was the one time, and the last time I refused to put on any Georgia or Bama gear. I'm not betting that. We'll do anything else, but I'm not betting to put on no gear. That's not it.
Yeah, and as somebody that resides just outside of Atlanta, I'm sure you have to hear it enough. So when you get the Go Bulldogs, I'm sure you throw back the War Eagle at them, and just represent a little bit, make sure you show them. And of course, we saw the rings yesterday, as you said, the good to great on there, the G2G. That was a Gene Chizik thing. Shout out to Gene Chizik. Certainly a mantra for the team and something that stuck with you all. So yeah, when we fast forward, we're 10 years away from the national championship. Can you believe it's been 10 years since you won a national championship at Auburn?
It's just unbelievable. I just can't believe this time just flew by. You know what I mean? It's just, especially when you're just flying by, having fun and trying to, put everything together in your life and what's going on and trying to make it in this league. It's just, and all of a sudden you're to the point where you're like, dang, it's 10 years. And you're like, dang, it's 10 years since, won a national championship. It's just crazy because we have so many great memories from that season that made that season just, great. And it's just been an amazing ride. And I just can't believe it's really been 10 years since we won the national championship.
Yeah, so for our viewers out there, we're working on a 2010 national championship documentary on Auburn. Of course, Josh, kind enough to sit down and talk with us. I believe our interview probably went about 2 hours because you had so much good information and so much great stuff to share with us. And then, of course, we were able to get Zach Etheridge, which was awesome. He says that you and him go way back and obviously have a great relationship. And so much fun to listen to you guys reminisce about this. And so that's something that my colleague Laura Goldman is certainly working on as well and doing a great job with that. So that'll be something to look forward to later in the year as we replay 10 years ago, the Auburn national championship game. I want Patrick to pop up the picture of you running on the field after the national championship game. This is great. Look at this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, just the sheer joy. And I remember you recounting that moment, after you guys won the national championship. Take us through that, the significance of that and the meaning When that ball went through the uprights and you knew like we won the championship, and you even kind of mentioned it like before the ball really left Wes's foot, you knew like we are national champions.
Oh, for sure. It's just like that moment when it just finally, that ball just, we were just sitting there, arms just ready. And all of a sudden we're looking, but we know for a fact in our minds, we already know Wes killing it. It's already, we didn't even question it. We're not, I think he'll make it, hope he make it. No, we knew he was going to make it. We just wanted to, actually physically see him make it. But then once that ball kicked and left his foot, it was just, you couldn't tell us nothing else. We just stormed the field. I mean, you might have seen us storm the field way before it actually went right through the uprights because, Wes Byron was clutch, and we know for a fact what he brought to the table. And it was just a real moment. And just like you did all that work and all the off-season workouts and the winter workouts, all the yelling and screaming you go through to finally, crown yourself national champs. It's just, you can't replace that whatsoever.
Is there a specific play or moment in that season for you personally that you kind of recall and that you relive over and over leading up to that national championship game that really resonates with you?
For me personally, that stood out. For sure, my 2 interceptions against Arkansas, for sure.
Yeah.
Those are all the turning moments in the game. It started with Zach and his fumble recovery, and then I had back-to-back series of interceptions. And I thought I was just, crazy turnaround events, especially in that game. It was like it was high scoring, 60-something to 40-something game.
Yeah, because you guys were supposed to win that game pretty big.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, I didn't expect the 65, I think it was, the 43, I believe the score was.
Yeah, high scoring game.
High game. I mean, that's an offensive shootout. But we underestimated Arkansas, a little bit later in the game when Ryan Mallett went out, and that's what happened. And luckily, we put it together in the fourth quarter defensively to make the stops we needed to get offensive ball and score some points.
And of course, that is sort of one of the underlying themes that we talked about that 2010 season. The defense showed up when it mattered most. And that's something that you guys have reiterated. Ted Roof reiterated it. Coach Chiswick's reiterated it. And so certainly, makes that all the more meaningful, for the defense and what you guys were able to accomplish. If there's someone on that team, that 2010 national championship team that you keep in contact most, who is it?
Oh, Zach Etheridge. That's my guy. We probably talk definitely at least once a week, if not every other week, and just chop it up. And we just keep in touch with each other. That's my guy. That's my brother, and I love him. And, and I just, I couldn't ask for a better teammate back in the day. We joke and play a lot. We still do now. Like we some kids still in college. It just have fun. And that's just what it's all about. And it's always great to have those that, guys you can definitely talk to even from college and go through those moments and relive it with. And Zach is definitely my guy.
And of course, Zach, he's now at Houston, cornerbacks coach at Houston. So certainly, kudos to him, obviously pursuing the coaching career and doing an outstanding job. And so we look forward to catching up with him as well. Kind of as we wrap things up, I just wanted to ask you, how much do you miss playing football at Auburn? Because obviously you transitioned to the league. That's what you always dream of. But there's definitely a difference between playing college ball and the NFL. And, how much do you miss sort of the camaraderie and what comes with playing college football, especially at Auburn?
What I missed about Auburn was just the family atmosphere and just the guys you build that relationship with during that time. And I'm not going to lie, college was hard. And if anybody tell you it's not, they lying, because college workouts are something different and either make you or break you. And it's about half the time it was probably breaking you more than anything else. But we made it through somehow. And it just taught you a lot about life. And I think that's what Auburn was about. Auburn was about teaching you lessons of what life was going to be like. And I think I mentioned it yesterday about the work, hard work, and just what it means and what it takes to be great and what it takes to be, a champion, what it takes to succeed in life. And Auburn taught me so many lessons like that. And like I said yesterday as well, I instilled that with my kids. And me and my wife, we bring those values home with us. And we know for a fact without Auburn, it wouldn't be us. Hell, I wouldn't even met my wife and the love of my life. And I just appreciate Auburn so much. I just miss being there. And I love when I get a chance to take the kids down and whenever I can go around the campus and see what's new, see what's going on, and just to get that feeling of that family atmosphere once again.
You said Brianna was the first person you met on campus at Auburn. You guys became best friends, and now you've got 3 beautiful children, and man, they are funny. They cracked me up yesterday running around, obviously showing all your memorabilia off and that awesome scrapbook that your wife made you when you guys had the 2010 national championship run. Obviously a lot of fun. Well, my last question for you to wrap things up, there's a lot of young guys up and coming, that will make that transition from high school to college. If there is one piece of advice that you could share with them, or maybe even a piece of advice that you're sharing with your kids about life and obviously about football and doing the right thing, and obviously, putting in the work to show, look, like you said, you've been in the league for, 10 years now, and, still going strong. So what would that advice be?
My advice will be for incoming freshmen, just to figure out what you want to do after college. I think my biggest thing, I see a lot of, especially the young athletes, they come into college thinking that that's what they're all they're going to do. And sometimes sometimes their sports, sometimes athletically, they make it seem like that's what you're there to do. And that's not necessarily always the case. I think it's sometimes you got to find that way of finding your roots to outside of your what you're playing. And in me, I was a human science major, and I was preparing myself as if, I never was going to make it to the NFL. I was making my own schedule with my college. I was doing this on the side, that's outside athletically, just to put myself in position, because at the end of the day, I don't know how long I play football, or even if I'm gonna play football after college, and I want to prepare myself for that afterwards. So when that time does come, if I got cut or didn't make it to the NFL, hell, I didn't even get drafted, it wouldn't be on me so much where I felt like, oh man, I got to make it. So I got to keep trying and forget about that. I still have a life to live outside of it, and preparing yourself for the afterlife and whatever happens, because it's not a high percentage that a lot of guys can make it to the NFL, NBA, WNBA, wherever the case may be. It's not a huge chance that we all gonna make it, but preparing ourselves for the life after is definitely one of the biggest advice I can give.
Certainly great advice. And I know you mentioned you picked up the golf game a little bit as of late. How is that going for you?
You know what? I got to pick up my clubs today, I believe. So, I think I might get a little better. I got to get some practice. That's why I got the clubs. I got to pick those up today. So, see how that goes in the next coming weeks, because golf takes a little practice. No, not a little, a lot of practice.
A lot of practice, a lot of consistency. And, the emotions on the golf course, we all know the wave. It's like you can get so high when you just drive it right down the middle.
Yes.
And it's so low when you hack it right into a tree.
Oh, there's go peer.
It's just like, so if you could have a golf partner, I know that we've talked to Ronnie Brown and Jason Campbell and some of those guys that kind of live in your area. Have you been able to link up with those guys and play golf at all?
No, I haven't, because like I told you, I just got into it. I started doing it last year, and I did a few events in here and there. So now I wanted to pre-COVID. I wanted to do it more this year, but COVID kind of slowed it down. But now I'm like, all right, that's probably one of the safest things to still do, because you're really not around people like that anyway.
Right.
So now it's probably, a good time, for me to get a little practice on by myself. There's nothing wrong with that. Then hopefully, I get Patrick Peterson, my guy from, I know he went to LSU, but that's my guy. He's a teammate. We're from the same area in Florida as well. He's a great golfer, and I need a few practice, a few lessons from him. So, that's the kind of partner I need right now to show me a little bit what's going on.
All right. Well, we'll have to hit up Patrick and get you guys out on the golf course. That sounds like a lot of fun. Josh, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Obviously, always great to catch up, and it's great to hear things are going well. So wishing you and your family all the best. Obviously, when things open back up and you get to head to camp, we're certainly looking forward to keeping tabs on you this season, and we wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Lauren, I really do. Thank you so much.